Boxspeech.
Let's get into it.
Every so often in boxing, a talent emerges to fly in the face of convention. If the public likes the act, then the mix of showmanship and fighting ability produce a very marketable commodity. And that's why Prince Naseem Hamed became the biggest little earner in British sports history. Everyone had an opinion about him, for good or bad.
I'm British, and I'm doing it for England and Arabia and the Yemen. I'm bringing it on. A legend's going to be coming soon, babe. Watch out.
Time for fun and a time to jump up and down. Right now, my stuntman up there on the run. Step up for the mic. No dive.
Watch out. Just watch out.
Respect.
You're world class, you're a professional, show it. I'm not bragging anything, but I'm too good.
But is Naseem Hamed on the verge of becoming champion here?
This is really turning on the style now.
And I think the referee stopped it. He stopped the fight. And Prince Naseem Hamed is now king.
I was too strong, too fast, and too good, and I'm world champ.
Respect in every aspect. And
I'm going to be all of them. I'm going to bring so many world titles back to England. It's going to be untrue. I'm going to be a legend, and I said that from the start.
Well, the American dream does take off for him after it looked so dodgy for so long.
My first fight in New York, Madison Square Garden, and I wanted to show the people here that I can fight. I can take it on the chin, and I can give it.
become a stunt man when I feel sore. Cause the lyrics from my mouth to the bore. And I will always find a cure. Raise the hand if I'm in a good time. Raise the hand if I'm in a good time. Raise the hand if I'm in a good time. Raise the hand if I'm in a good time.
And he's fire left hook and hard. First blood to Barrera. Oh, but he's got by another left hand. And it looks so bad. Oh, Hamed. Naseem Hamed has been beaten.
Everybody wanted to see what was going to happen if I ever lost. Now it's happened. I'm fine. I accept the loss from God. I wish the kid all the best in the success in the world to him in his career. And I'm going to get back in the gym. I'm a great fighter. I'm a man. This is how a man and a great fighter takes it.
Respect in every aspect.
He was the favourite in the betting capital of the world, and everybody who backed him was wrong. But Glenn McCrory called it right before the event. You picked Barrera. Can he possibly come back from it?
Of course he can. Of course he can. He can come back. He can fight Morales. I mean, he's still a very, very good fighter who can be right there in the division. But I think Barrera was just one fight too many. He had the right style, and I always thought he was going to beat Hamed. But Hamed's right there. You know, he's still there.
I'm not sure I agree with you about that, Glenn, actually. I'm not sure he can get back. I mean, in that fight with Barrera, what worried me, elite-level fighters should be able to adapt strategies within the fight. Hamed had no plan B. He's got to work out a way. Well, he's got to work out a way of beating top fighters on points. He can't keep relying on the power.
But he's been beating top fighters for 5.5 years.
Yeah, what he's going to do...
against a great
That's an
fighter.
argument. There's an argument that's saying he's been beating good name fighters who were just past their best Barrera was the biggest test, and you've got to say he failed it. He makes himself a great if he can come back from it.
That's his problem. I think the problem with Nas is, just to reiterate what Ian said, he doesn't go in there with a fight plan. He just reacts. He's so naturally talented, he just reacts. He's got to learn. He's got to change his attitude first, and he's got to learn just to box with more of a strategy, more of a plan.
Okay, Barry, as a professional, that sounds good talk, but, you know, for fans watching this with us at home, how do you change things like that? He's 27 years of age.
He's never going to change, Paul. I am agreeing with that. He's never going to change. What he has to do is, in his own mind, he has to go in there and give more respect. He's so cocky now that he doesn't really respect his opponents. He's got so much belief in his power that he thinks he can walk in there and knock everybody out. He's got to change that. He's got to have a plan.
Barry,
the way he boxed Jose
Barrera. I think he respected Barrera.
Yeah.
All right, I think he had almost
he didn't
too
have
much
a plan.
respect.
He didn't have a plan how to fight
I'm worried
Barrera.
about the whole thing with that on the night. The problem with the hands, the problem with the gloves, then he didn't do the flip across the ring. And the speech he gave afterwards, it almost seemed as if it was pre-rehearsed, like it was a release for him.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know. I
don't
think
he ever believed he was going to lose. I think what happened was he just realised when he stepped in the ring that suddenly he's up another level. He's got to adjust and come back and try to play that.
And there's only one place to do that, Barry, and that is by hard work in the gym. So two things. First, surely there are going to be changes in the camp.
Yes, I think there is going to be changes in the camp, but Nas has got to be less of a control freak. He's got to use one trainer in a more methodical fashion and work with him, and also change his style of fighting in the ring.
Well, that's my second point. Technically, you've been there. How can he change?
He basically has to stop fighting with his hands down around his waist. He's got to put him at least chest high rather than down around his waist. Get him up to his shoulders and start thinking about more respect as far as his opponent is concerned. Use the centre of the ring, box. He can do it. He can do it all. He can do it all.
Barry,
isn't
that part of the problem, do you think, with him, that they've been trying to meddle with his original maverick style?
I agree.
They're setting his feet more now, getting him to punch even harder. Emmanuel Stewart and Oscar Suarez, and those two don't get on that well. I think it's an open secret.
I think that's a problem.
They're making him easy to hit.
No,
was always elusive.
What I'm saying is you should never try to change an ingrained style that Nas has got. What he's got to try and do is just put it together a little bit better. He's got all of the qualities. He's just got to put it together
I think
better.
just avoid Barrera in the future.
There is a whole other dimension to all this story now. Much talk about the new, mature Naseem, a family man, of course, more gracious in his dealings with the press, and just recently honourable in accepting his defeat. But just in case you don't remember what he has been like in the past, here's a look at how he once treated the Sun's Colin Hart a couple of years back.
You are one of the worst journalists I've ever come across. You want to know why, Colin? Just don't speak. Let me just carry on. You know what your opinion means? You know what your opinion means? Your opinion.
It's obviously got to you.
Whoa.
It's obviously got
Whoa,
to
because
you.
you're writing about me. If I wrote about you, Colin, I don't think you'd like it.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking to you from my heart. I don't like you. I don't like you, Colin.
Well,
You're a fool.
I think Nas realised he was out of order on that particular day, and when we got back to London, he had the good grace to apologise for his behaviour. He knew that he had behaved badly, and he apologised for it.
So I think I probably deserve what I got in the press, but they did go wild, you know. But you know, I give him an opportunity. I give him a chance to do that by what I did.
You see, he's always been a nice man, really. But there's more going on behind the scenes there, Ian, and you were party to most of it, I think.
Well, there was a lot of stress, I think, around the time of that Atlantic City fight. It was around the time he was breaking up with Brendan Ingle and Frank Warren. There'd been visa problems. He'd arrived late.
A couple of years back.
And all the tension surfaced in that confrontation you saw with Colin Hart. But I tell you what, Naseem Hamed, he's not a bad guy, really, if you know him closely. He called a meeting with myself and Adam Smith, colleague on Sky, and with the press guys, and said, look, I'm sorry it went like that. I'm sorry it went wrong. And I think, like, since then, really, he's been more mellow and more mature. And last time out, he was a pleasure and a privilege to deal with.
Barry, nonetheless, he is in uncharted territory now, isn't he? As a big-name fighter, and with due respect, you went through the same thing. Big personality, but suddenly a loser. Now, how is he going to deal with all of that as a human being?
Well, that's going to be a difficulty for him. It's not going to be easy. When you've earned the sort of money that he's earned and you've had the history that he's had, it's going to be difficult for him. But he can make the changes. And the bottom line is he has the natural ability. It's just a matter of being able to put it together in the ring again and just try and change. It's going to be difficult, but I think he can make those adjustments and come back.
Can he do it all, Dave?
Well, if he's going to be a great fighter, he has to, because in the past, you know, that's what makes a great fighter. The fact that you can lose, and everybody can lose, you know. It's how you come back. And if he comes back then, you know, hands up.
British, how does he get the press back on his side here?
Well, I don't think the press are against him, to be honest. Now, I think there are a lot of people who don't...
Plenty have jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, a lot of people are glad to see him get beaten, but this is now the most interesting phase of Hamed's career. Can he come back? If he can, he goes right back up there. At the moment, he's a long way short.
Britain has...